everyone, please welcome to the stage, Dave Burke.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Android Developer Summit here at the historic Computer History Museum in California. This is an event for developers, by developers, with tons of in-depth content, and most importantly, direct access to the engineers that actually build Android. In fact, we have so many of them here this week that I'm pretty sure Android development is going to stop. In the audience, we have attendees from over 70 countries, both in person and on the live stream. We're glad to have you all with us here today. Now, speaking of history, we're about to celebrate our 10th anniversary of Android. And in fact, it was about 10 years ago that the very first customers were unboxing their G1 devices. And CNET's review at the time said, thanks to the openness of the operating system, there's huge potential for the G1 and any Android devices after it to become powerful mini computers as developers create more applications for Google Android. The G1
Android's open source and scale means it's incredible to watch what you're building on top of the platform. With over 2 billion devices, 3/4 of... That's it for the keynote. Thank you. I hope you enjoy Android Dev Summit.
Now, everyone, please give a warm welcome to Dan Galpin.
All right, well, I'm so glad to have you all here at the Android Summit, and I can tell you how excited I am to be no longer part of the team that's planning the event. It's great to actually have the event coming off so well. And my name is Dan. I am the MC for this room, and when I'm not MCing, I lead Android developer outreach and training. And I first wanted to start by giving a shout out to everyone there on the live stream. I wish you could all be here in person, but I hope you enjoy the content either at one of the live stream viewing parties or from the comfort of your own history museum. You can also follow the History Museum. You can also follow the online action on Twitter at #AndroidDevSummit. And now I need my next slide. Otherwise, I'll have to improvise. I can do this. So there's a lot of stuff going on here today. One of the things I want all of you on site to be able to take advantage of is the fact that we have a tremendous amount of Android experts available here at office hours. And those office hours are going to be right out here in the lobbies next to these rooms. Now, whether you're here or tuning in remotely, make sure to check out the Android Dev Summit app. So you can look at all of the events and build your own schedule. Now you'll notice we have some different sessions throughout the day. This is a bit of an experiment. And the 20-minute sessions are going to run back to back on somewhat related topics with the intention that you watch both sessions because there's no time to leave the room. Also, we have lightning talks that are going to be a speed round where we move as quickly as possible to smash as much content to 40 minutes that is probably possible. For those of you at the summit, we're going to be, again, having Q&A with presenters outside these entrances as well, along with the office hours. So make sure to check out the schedule posted on the wall. We have so many people that wanted to talk to you that we can't actually fit them all here at once. So they're going to be coming in and out throughout the day. And so you want to make sure that you're here so that the engineer that worked on bugs that you might be interested in are actually going to be there to defend themselves. And finally, note that office hours are going to be running all day during and between sessions. So you're allowed to skip class if you want to go to office hours instead, or app review clinics, or the demo pods. And besides, we're going to be releasing all of the recorded sessions during and just after the run of the show, so you can binge watch it later. Also, we are having a party later on, so hold on to your badges and get ready for an epic night of music and standing around and talking to people. And, and that's it. I really appreciate everything. We have a little break now, and so enjoy the rest of Android Dev Summit. Haven't done anything yet.
Go for it.
Thanks for coming to this talk. My name is Jose Alcerrica. I'm a developer relations engineer at Google, working on Android.
My name is Ziad Boyar. I'm an engineer in the Android Toolkit team.
And today we're going to talk about live data. Live data is one of the first architecture components that we released last year. And in this talk, we're going to explain what it is. We're going to talk about some of the transformations that you can do, how to combine live data. And then we're going to talk about some patterns and anti-patterns that you might want to avoid. So live data is a simple, lifecycle-aware, observable data holder.
Similarly, if you were writing a normal data class, you would have a constructor with the fields. In audio value world, you still need that factory method, and Rule will be able to discover this to create your auto value class. And then using it is you would use it as any other data class. You would use the abstract class that you declare. Another highly requested feature that has been working for, that has been requested for a while, and we finally got it, is more Rx. So now you can actually have async return times completable, single, and maybe in methods annotated with insert, update, and delete. So we listen. When you request stuff, we'll listen.
Yeah, this is actually, it's only available in Rx. That's interesting.
Might be available in other type of async.
Like coroutines, Kotlins?
Maybe.
Yeah, please. So Room 2.1 is a really big release, like the full text search, the database views, and when we decided which features to work on, we're basically relying on your feedback. Like these are literally, like I personally objected that allowing completive length stuff in those like insert queries for a long time, and I gave up because people really wanted it. And this is our development philosophy. We basically look at what the community is doing, how are they using it, what do they want, and implement them. So please, try to use 2.1. It's a very big release, and we want to just ship it as stable as soon as possible, and we need your feedback. We basically look at the number of apps shipping with Room and see how they are using. We'll look for the incoming bugs. I mean, we don't really have bugs, but sometimes look for incoming user errors, try to fix them, and then we try to ship. So please work with us, and we'll try to wrap it up and ship it. And also, please let us know what other features you want in Room so that we can implement them. All right, thanks a lot for coming to this talk. I hope it was useful.
Thank you.
And we will be in the sandbox area after the talk. Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome to our lightning round. And this is where we try to smash an incredible amount of content into only 40 minutes. And what's great about these sessions is these are a lot of things that we might not have the opportunity to present a full-length session for you at a place like I.O. So this is going to be really, really fun. We have an incredibly distinguished set of speakers, and I'm going to talk really fast and get off of here really quickly. If you hear a gong, it means that someone has gone over their 5 minutes, and we need to move on. So we're going to try to move this really, really quickly, and it's going to be great. So stay tuned, and our first talk is going to be about JNI. So please welcome Ellie Hughes.
Hey, my name's Elliot Hughes. I've worked on Android for a while now, and actually my first job on Android was working on the Java core libraries and actually cleaning up some of the bugs in our JNI. Oops.
It is being used, you're required to prominently disclose it to them and get their permission to do so. So the example that we have here, the data is being collected of the installed apps on a user's device for fraud prevention purposes. So this needs to be prominently disclosed to the user, and only after your user consents to it should the data be transferred.
So in the latest Android releases, we've worked hard to offer a more privacy-sensitive OS. I'm going to walk you through a few of those changes. So in Android 9, we split up the core log permissions from the phone permission group into their own permission group, core log, to give users more transparency into what apps are doing. So if your app is requesting reading phone numbers from the phone state broadcast change, we're now asking you to request both the core log and the phone state permissions. In Android 8, we deprecated the build serial static field, replacing it with a build.getSerial function that requires a read phone state permission. If you're going to use it, please be sure you can use it for valid purposes, because it's a supply policy violation to use it for advertising purposes.
Speaking of limited access, a reminder, apps running in the background on Android 9.0 will require the following restrictions. You will no longer have access to mic or camera in the background. Sensors such as accelerometer, gyroscope will return empty data. If your app needs access to sensor events on devices running Android 9.0, you will need to use a foreground service. And to further inform and protect the user, the system will also add a visual aid to your notifications when your services are accessing the camera or the mic.
So our contacts provider API used to allow apps to contribute data about how often a contact was being contacted, allowing other apps to glean information about interactions not happening within their own scope. So as of January next year, a limited set of contact fields and methods will be made obsolete. These include fields relating to the last time a contact was accessed or contacted. So if your app is accessing or updating these fields, we ask you to use alternative methods. For example, you could fulfill certain use cases by using private content providers or simply storing data in your backend systems.
So this was a really brief talk about best practices for privacy. We hope that we've been able to offer you at least some insight into how you can build apps that are conscious of users' right to privacy and also compliant with all our policies. So as we've mentioned earlier, we definitely believe that security and privacy is a partnership between you, the developer, and our platform. So if you have any questions about it, please do come find us at the office hours. And I hope you all have a great summit and have a great lunch as well. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you all today. My name is Phil Adams, and I'm a researcher here at Google.
And I'm Pierre Le Sen, software engineer at Google.
We're here to talk to you today about how we're rethinking app distribution on Google Play. We'll talk about the new app publishing format that we announced at I/O and share some new features that we've been working on, digging deeper into some of the topics that you saw.
For Chrome OS and testing has been having to use ADB over Wi-Fi, and the development cycle has always been pretty crappy. But on the HP Chromebook X2 and the Pixelbook, you can ADB over USB, so you can actually bring the devices into the same kind of development cycle that you do with phones. Other devices still require ADB over Wi-Fi, but we hope to bring more and more devices to this feature. But the easiest way really is just to run Android Studio on Chrome OS. This is available currently on the Pixelbook in preview, and we're hoping to bring it to more devices in the future. And we do have this set up at the Android and Chrome OS tables, as well as the Android Studio table. Being able to just kind of build the app and deploy it directly to the device makes the whole development cycle substantially easier and faster. At the end of the day, Android is always evolving. There's more and more platforms that are running APKs, whether they're different flavors or even just your mobile APK. So make sure that your app is too. Thank you. Again, please ask any questions, any suggestions that you have for tooling, any things that you've run into when trying to develop for kind of larger screen platforms. I would love to hear about it so that we can tackle this. Thank you.
Hello, welcome. I'm Jerome Daucher. I'm a software engineer at Google.
I'm Chris Thornton. I'm also a software engineer. And I'm Isa. I'm also a software engineer.
Hi guys, I'm Leo. I'm a product manager. Things that I share, the tooling, the best practices, and more. So stay tuned. To recap, here's the takeaway from the session. First, we shared some finding on speed, and that we're basically a little bit outpaced by some of the features, the plugins, and all the other things that are impacting build speed, but we're taking this very seriously. And so we're doubling down our effort on better tooling and attribution that you heard, as well as continuing to improve performances. We share the new features in 3.2, and I definitely encourage you to upgrade to 3.2 if you haven't already. And we mentioned some of the things that are working for 3.3 and beyond. And by the way, 3.3 beta is available, so I encourage you to try it. It has some of the things that we mentioned, like lazy tasks and others. And last, I talked about some of the tools that you can use, --can, --profile, today to understand your build, and share some of the best practice if you're writing plugins or customizing your build speed. That's it for today. I want to make a bad joke, but unlike build, we finished earlier than expected. So we're going to be out there with in the speaker Q&A or at the studio booth today and tomorrow if you have any questions. So thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm super excited to be here, and today we're going to be talking about constraint layout with a focus heavily on the visual editor, how to use the visual editor to effectively make constraints in Android Studio. So we're going to start out by talking about the basics, and then...
Oh, I'm Chris, UX designer on Android Studio, and I'll be talking about some of the new features we've added to Android Studio for constraint layout.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm Sean McQuillan, developer advocate for Android. After we talk about the basics, the features that shipped in Constraint Layout 1.0, 1.1, we're going to talk about some of the new
design surface. That way you can actually kind of correlate, okay, here's my components that I'm animating and where they're starting and ending and what are the actual motion paths. And so that's kind of where we are with the motion editor. We hope to get it out soon, but I can't promise anything. And sorry.
later next year.
Yeah, sometime in 2019. And that's it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the talk. My name is Dong Chen. I'm a tech lead of MLKit team at Google. I'm here today to talk about MLKit, Google's machine learning SDK for mobile. I will provide an overview of what MLKit does and also what's new since its inception 6 months ago. I also share some tips and the best practices to improve performance, accuracy, reduce size, and a few other things. In the end, I will talk about what we're working on. 2 years ago, Google CEO Sundar Pichai said, we'll move from mobile-first to AI-first world.
Thankfully, that's not the case. But if these notifications are push notifications and they're sent using high-priority FCM message, which means this app is constantly waking up a deep dose device. If I want to have good battery in the morning, I might just uninstall this app. But for now, I will turn on DND, do not disturb, so that I don't get disturbed. Digital well-being also provides ways for users to disconnect and reduce interruption. And on Pixel 3, you can even turn on DND by simply flip your device, which is super convenient. But what if this is a super important notification that the user actually wants to receive? So for those, here's a few advice for you. First, set the right category to your notification. As we can see here in the Do Not Disturb setting, user can choose what to block and what to allow. And they can set exceptions on calls, messages, reminders, and events. If your notification belongs to one of them, please tag your notification as such. Here, I listed a few categories which corresponds to these exceptions on the other side. As I said, if your notification belongs to one of these categories, please let us know by tagging them. The other advice that we have is, if this is a notification coming from another person, then please tag your notification. As you can see here in the Do Not Disturb setting, user can choose who they want to get notified from their contacts. So please add that person in your notification and add the associated URI if possible. Doing this will allow you to bypass Do Not Disturb. But you should always remember that when users turn on Do Not Disturb, they really don't want to be disturbed. So if you're sending a notification that's not expected, that will really annoy them. So please don't abuse these APIs. This brings us back to the quote we had at the beginning, where we're saying, whenever you're sending a notification, please keep this in mind. Don't annoy the user. Respect them, empower them, delete them, and connect them to the people they care about. Thank you.